Hi folks, this is all the fruit, and when being asked what is the best place to find rare and exotic fruits on the island of Borneo, there is only one answer to that, and it's Tenom Agricultural Park in Sabah. Yeah, it's really crazy. Borneo is the most fruit-rich island in the world, probably the most fruit-rich place in the world, being rivaled only by the much bigger Amazon rainforest, and maybe of the island of Papua, which could have more fruits than Borneo, but you will get eaten faster than you can eat the fruits. But yeah, in Borneo, Tenom Agricultural Park is definitely the best address. And if you would ask me what's the best address for fruit hunting in all of Southeast Asia, I could name about 5 botanic gardens, and one of them would definitely be Tenom. Yeah, isn't it amazing? The other botanic gardens are world famous things like the gardens in Singapore, the gardens in the botanic gardens in Kuala Lumpur and Putrajaya, Bogor Botanic Garden, a century-old botanic garden where, well, local sultans, the government of Indonesia, Germans, Dutch and British collaborated for centuries to create a wonderful garden. And here Tenom, a small town in the middle of nowhere with a giant agricultural park. It's not only a beautiful agricultural collection and most of all fruit collection, it's also a wonderful park to spend a day. I never come here for a day. I always stay here for a couple nights because you would need several days to explore the park, and you would need weeks to explore the hundreds of hectares of non-public agricultural collections around it. Hundreds of durian varieties, hundreds of mangoes, water apples, a lot of other rare stuff. Really beautiful park, and as I said, one of the top addresses for fruit foraging in all of Southeast Asia, and definitely the best collection in all of the island of Borneo, which in itself is the best place for fruit foraging in the whole wide world. As usual, I'm staying in the hostel, and as usual, I have the whole big building to myself. Oh, and did I mention that for some reason the tiny canteen of the park is closed, and we are like 10 kilometers away from the next town? So, fruit foraging is this, folks. Fruit foraging or starving. Well, no, I'm too fat for that. Nice papayas, but not ripe. And I am not really into green papayas. Lots of dukulangza trees everywhere. Come on, folks. At least one of those should be in season. One branch would be enough for me. Yeah, sometimes single branches, fruit out of season. Well, I meant ripe fruits. Ripe out of season fruits, please. Nah. It seems like I'm a couple weeks too early for the dukulangsat harvest. What is this here in the middle? Seems to be some other sapindaceae, but also without ripe fruits. And the young durian here also has no fruits. What about the Cassia trees? There are tons of them along the main road of the park. They are mostly being planted because of their beautiful yellow flowers, but right now the flowers are not in season. However, the fruits might be. What was this? This was Cassia fistula, I think. Look at that. The beautiful red aqua, the beautiful black syrup, which not only looks like licorice, but also tastes similar. Just don't eat too much, It's a powerful laxative. Actually, it's being sold throughout Asia as a laxative. You might think, if normal Cassia is so tasty, what about giant Cassia, Cassia grandis? The fruits are not as long, but they are much thicker. And this one has been enjoyed by some animal already. Oh, same goes for this one. Well, it's not in season, and even if it was, it's much less tasty. It has a much more wild, much more rough taste, and yeah, it's also not used on a large scale, unlike the previous species. A Chico sapote tree. No fruits on the lower branches, but some are on the higher ones. On the ground, some half eaten by birds, shows that they are more or less ripe. No need to rip the fruits off the tree. They will most probably be still rock hard. It's better to look at the ground, find some which have been lying around for a couple days. Oh well, this is still hard and has already been eaten. Nope, same thing, hard. Still too hard. Oh, this looks better. Incredibly sweet. It's like eating caramel. That's not even the only thing you can enjoy about this fruit. Actually, you can tap the latex and use it not for rubber boots, but for chewing gum. Yeah, folks, the latex of this fruit tree is the original chewing gum being used by the Native Americans of Central America for thousands of years. Later, the white man just added sugar. This beautiful mangosteen plantation has been a staple for me for years. When visiting this park, I was stuffing my face with lots of the beautiful mangosteens. However, right now it seems I'm out of luck. Always check where the big bamboo sticks are. That's where the gardeners usually harvest fruits. That's where there are fruits on the trees. However, nope, nothing is in season. I checked before, and what I could find were a lot of rotten fruits on the ground, and from time to time a couple yet unripe fruits on the trees. A breadfruit tree. This is a staple, or was a staple, of big parts of Oceania, and when the white colonizers and slavers tried to make it a staple of the enslaved African people in the Caribbean, it actually triggered a lot of revolts, the mutiny on the Bounty just being the first one, and continuing with revolts triggered by this one fruit for about 100 years. Because, well, compared to a lot of bread varieties, this can be considered inferior. Oh, look at that. It's the seedy breadfruit, it's the bread nut. Well, let's try the... This was harvested, well, this fell down too early. So the fibers, I would only call them a survival food. But the seedy breadfruit, or bread nut, I think this is Atocarpus camansi. The fibers are not the main thing, actually. Yeah, you can eat them when the fruit is still very young. But the main thing are the seeds, which you roast like chestnuts. However, I don't think you can eat them raw. Look at this rambutan tree. Not a single fruit from this side, but there are no less than 4 bamboo poles propped up against it. Yep, over there are a couple branches. The fruits are small, look a bit puny, but still, if they hit down so many rambutan fruits, maybe there is something. Well, they are the only rambutan fruits available right now around here. Not the best rambutan I've ever eaten, but totally edible. Next to the rambutans, I'm sort of some sort of mosquito, some sort of tarap or closely related Artocarpus. No fruits. I saw a couple of fruits on the market of Tenom, so some trees are in season, but not this one. The herbal garden. Well, folks, want me to tell you a secret? Most of those herbs are actually fruits. See the big rambutan collection here in the back? They actually have a lot of labels what clones those are. However, none of those is in season. I don't see a single fruit on the rambutans. Same thing here with the cashew apple. Well, I cannot eat the cashew nuts without processing, but I wouldn't mind munching on a couple tasty cashew apples. Seems like the smelly noni is always in season. However, not even the little mulberries are in season. Oh, purging nut. Well, this is not supposed to be eaten. Calabash. Well, not necessarily a food. You can kind of eat it, but oh, here we have a big pomelo. Yeah, and not only under this tree, under that and that, there are more pomelos. So we could, okay, it doesn't just look rotten, it is rotten. Found a good looking pomelo. Yeah, this one is still firm enough, but if I start opening it now, I'll make such a mess and I'll be hard pressed to continue filming. Oh, here a Kudondong tree. This is one of their favorite fruit trees here. However, they usually use the fruits while still unripe. I guess most of them would say that this ripe fruit is too far gone already. Still quite sour, but quite good. Tasty. Don't eat the Makota Deva or God's Crown. It might look like beautiful big juicy fruits, but it's a medicine and it tastes like medicine. Now look what they have in the herbal garden. A whole durian collection. And this one is hanging full of big fruits. And I think I can already smell a bit of durian smell. That means that they will start falling soon. The ground is littered with small unpollinated fruits which the plant has shedded. Actually, this one could have some edible stuff inside. Let's see, this one is already opening. You can see there is nothing inside, but I think this here might have a bite or two. Now let's open it like an elephant. The elephant is one of the animals which naturally eat durians, like durian is one of their natural foods. The elephants step with their foot on the durian, open it, and then eat the single segments. However, come on, this one is smelly. I think in this part there should be something edible. Okay, eating durian like an elephant. Nope, They are two more or less developed seeds, but nothing edible around them. Guess I will have to keep an eye on those bad boys. Look at their size. When they get ripe, I'm sure there will be a big competition between the different gardeners who gets them first. As I said, they have a whole durian collection here. However, only the biggest tree has some fruits. On the other ones, I cannot see a single fruit. In the background, wild bananas. And behind the wild bananas, a whole plantation of domestic bananas. Yeah, wild bananas like to grow a lot around banana plantations. Oh, and here the wild bananas are ripe. Here, by the way, a papaya tree, most probably a feral one. Okay. Those look like monkey fingers. It will be a bit too much work to get at them now, but I will remember them. I rarely find wild ripe bananas, and maybe one of the next days I'm gonna catch you. Didn't pay attention to the big trees around me till I found a bunch of fruits on the ground. Well, those should be relatives of the wild mango, but it's not the of the white mango, but it's not the white mango, not the wani. It's the binjai, a close relative, a white mango relative with a really potent smell and taste. It's mostly being used for sauces and curries, not to be enjoyed fresh like the white mango. And since it's right here under this tree, it seems that it comes from this tree. However, this tree doesn't look so much like a mango tree. Do they really look that different? Well, it looks like a mango tree, but very different from any mango tree I've ever seen. Good that I saw this, because I never paid attention at this type of trees before. Yes, limes are medicine too. We are still in the herbal garden. As the British Empire, they built their empire on limes. Those slow sailing ships, they needed something to prevent scurvy, and the British used limes. Not this one, this is the Kasturi. It's not really a lime. Lime is a generic word. Every citrus that's small and sour is being called lime. This is the Kasturi, hybrid between a mandarin orange and the kumquat. That means that while the juice is sour, the rind is sweet. And here we have Limau Purut, the kaffir lime. I can recognize it without a single fruit because of the leaves, which are a spice and a medicine in themselves. No fruits on the Sisyphus, and the squirrel on the durian back there. What a pity. And those young fruit trees, guess we're gonna enjoy them in a couple years. Well, let's see the soursop. Lots of good sized fruits for such a small tree. Doesn't seem like they are harvesting them. They are rotting on the tree. However, none of the ones which are not rotten is ripe yet. Good sized one down here. Did I mention that the park is magnificent? So many lakes, so many pavilions in the lakes, so many beautiful flowering trees, nice fancy accommodations. Even if you are not a fruit hunter, the park is totally worth visiting if you are in Sava. Just don't eat the suicide apple. Yes, it's called suicide apple because it's a standard way for committing suicide in tropical countries. Stay away from it. Beautiful, huge 5 o'clock tree or monkey pot covered with orchids and ferns. Why is it called monkey pot? Well, because it's inferior to St. John's bread and other sweet Fabaceae fruits, but it is still a Fabaceae fruit filled with sugary syrup, not unlike the Cassia we tried in the beginning. Just this one is a bit more tart, but still totally edible if you don't mind the tartness. Those observation towers are quite popular in Malaysia, and whenever you see one, you should totally use it. In this particular case, the surrounding trees are already taller than the tower, but you can still totally use it to get a different point of view on the beautiful park. Here in front of us, the central lake, which is basically the focal point of the park. Oh, in the background, the beautiful Crocker Ridge Mountains. The lower part, caoutchouc plantations. The upper part, still quite good jungle, full of endemic durians. And yeah, slash and burn continues. You can use the beautiful bridges to cross those lakes. You can explore a couple islands. You can even, there is even accommodation at least on one of the islands, so you can even sleep inside, well, in the middle of those lakes. There are so many ways to enjoy this park, but of course we're gonna enjoy it by munching on the fruits. A big tamarind tree, lots of fruits on it. Let's see. If you're lucky, there is something good on the ground. Look at the size of this bad boy. Oh. Well, it's a little bit floppy for a ripe tamarind. No, totally tastes like a ripe tamarind. Incredibly sour, but at the same time also quite sweet. It's one of the most popular fruits for making curries and sambals. Tastes sour. I always wondered what those giant beans are. See those fruits here a little bit against the light? Well, to get an idea of the size, this thing is longer than my arm. If I get it here and point it towards me, well, it's as long as my arm plus the width of my chest. So the fruit is well over a meter long. Fabaceae, and now finally, I will know the name. Oroxylum indicum, midnight horror. I have to do some research on this. Maybe it gives you nightmares if you eat it. Don't eat unknown fruit, folks, especially not fruits which are called midnight horror. The star apples on the right are still unripe, or are they? This nearby one is pretty big already. Well, the mangoes and matua on the left definitely have no fruits, so let's check the star apples. Anything lying on the ground? Nope. And this fruit, it already looks full size, but it also still looks kind of unripe. More romantic lakes, more beautiful gardens, maybe more edible fruits. Accommodations for the gardeners and for the workers of the gigantic experimental station which is surrounding the park. This is basically a treasure trove of rare fruits here, and you would need weeks to see everything. Huge seeds on the ground. Coming from this tree. Oh, wait. This is this? But this doesn't look exactly like canistel. Is this some other egg fruit relative? Look at those fruits. They kind of look like canistel. And then they don't. Wait, I have eaten something like this once or twice. What was it? It was dry and powdery. A dry and powdery fruit. Ah, here it is. No, this is pretty much like canistel. It's possibly just some dry and yet unripe variety of normal canistel, Puteria campechiana. Some wild bananas over there. Those are definitely monkey fingers. Look at how thin the fruits are, and also they're quite small. But yeah, most probably they are just the weeds. They grew there and somebody forgot to remove them in time. Let's rummage a bit around the headquarters. Always keep the best stuff nearby, eh? Here there are a couple specialized gardens, which a lot of visitors might miss, but they are totally worth exploring. I just saw a couple Europeans do a 2-hour tour of the park and leave without having seen even a fraction of all the wonders. Here, by the way, giant taro. Actually, this is quite small. The leaves can get twice the size. They can get the size of a small car. And here, oh, taro, by the way, is edible. The leaves, as well as the rhizomes, are an important vegetable. Amorphophallus. The biggest flower in the world is Amorphophallus titanum, but the other species are also quite big. Here, the fruits. I've tried them once. There are ways to make them edible, and there are ways to make the tubers edible, but they're total famine food because of the high oxalate content. Over there a slightly bigger giant taro. But it can still get much bigger than the stuff here, folks. Much bigger and much tastier. Here a giant jungle tree has survived. The bole is less than 2 meters in diameter, but those giant buttresses, you can build a hut in between them, and I bet that every school class that comes here takes a picture, the whole class huddled between those 2 giant buttresses. A lot more stuff in that direction, more lakes, a little zoo. There is an official campsite on an island in the lake. However, it's not the fruitiest part of the park, and I've had kind of a dry spell during the last 1 hour, not so many edible fruits, and I want to forage, so I'm going the other way. Helicornia garden. Yes, in this part definitely, but over there are a bunch of bananas. Let's see if those bananas have bananas labels. Because I got pretty interested in the different local banana species and varieties and hybrids and so on. Cannot see any labels. That's very frustrating, because I'm seeing here a lot of interesting stuff, like those buds here. I don't think I've ever tasted the bananas that grow on this type of buds. And here I see a lot of rotten bunches, a lot of unripe bunches, but nothing I can basically put my teeth into. Whoa, what is this here? This looks a bit like Musa campestris, but it's not. Oh my, what is this? It has the color of Musa campestris, greenish whitish and purple on the fruits, but it also has a totally different flower button. None of those are ripe. Look at that here, a very puny one, but I can film it not against the sky. Oh, come on, folks, I'm outside the banana season, and why don't they have labels? I really want to know what those wild bananas are. Look at that. What? One of those bananas opening, and look at that. Inside the fruit, the inside looks greenish. Also, this looks the bud looks different from the other ones, but the inside of the fruits looks greenish, folks. That's something completely new for me. This banana looks like a pisang kapok, but is it? Cannot see seeds inside. Let's leave it to the ends. Where does it come from? Those quite huge plants here could be pisang kapok. Nah, this is not kapok, this is something different. So where does this banana come from? It's ripe, so wherever it comes from, there must be more. Here's some other banana cultivar, but completely unripe. Where is the bunch this banana came from? I'm hungry. Maybe it was harvested and this one banana just dropped down. Hi folks, this is all the fruit. And somebody or other something seems to have been very busy around this banana bunch in the agricultural park in the town of Tenom in Sabah in Malaysia and Borneo. I'm here in a collection of wild bananas. Well, over there also a couple banana cultivars. And this one is not only missing its bud, but also look at that, the fruits have fallen out of the skins of the banana skins, of the banana husks. I managed to collect the bud as well as two of the fruits. Something heavy must have been climbing around here, maybe a squirrel or something like that. Look at that. The bud is yellowish, but also rust colored. Oh, the mosquitoes here are killing me. This agricultural park is infamous for its mosquitoes. I've never seen a bud like that. And I've never seen banana fruits where the flesh falls out like this. Full of seeds, but incredibly tasty. Tasting like an apple, not like a banana. Yeah. Tasting exactly like a soft apple, and not only that, there's more to it. The flesh is not dissolving like a banana. It's chewy. Rubbery and chewy. Not so good for separating the flesh from the seeds. But you can chew the sour flesh quite long without it dissolving in your mouth. Do you know what this banana is, folks? Guess it should be something from here, from Borneo. Let's try the other fruit I found on the ground. Well, tasty. Flesh is just surrounding the seeds. The inside is basically just seeds with a thin flesh around it, which tastes like soft apple. Yeah. So folks, tell me what this is before the mosquitoes have completely eaten me alive. Apart from that, stay tuned for a lot more fruit videos from the incredibly diverse agricultural park of Tenom in Borneo. And don't forget to like, share, comment and subscribe. Look at those huge banana pseudostems. they're producing some almost roundish wild bananas. Oh my, I want those. I want those badly, but yeah, of course, first I have to find quite good sized pseudostems. No, I don't have to find quite good sized pseudostems. Oh, wait, there is a fruit lying on the ground. Well, a banana which fell out of its skin. There was one like this over there, so I think it's not from this species here. What is this? Can't you fall to the ground too in a ripe state, please? Not only am I hungry, I also want to try new banana species. Come on, banana. No, there's nothing ripe. I cannot see anything ripe, just completely green and completely rotten banana bunches. So there is also not the slightest chance anything edible will fall down here anytime soon. Some smaller species or specimens of wild banana. No, this is also the stuff which looks like campestris, but the fruits are so much thicker and plumper than campestris. Right, could this be the one? Could this be the same one that opens there, like where the fruits, the flesh of the fruits, well, the seeds covered by the flesh fall out of the fruit, and the husk remains on the plant? Can this all be the same species? It's totally possible, but no label, so I cannot even check this stuff online. Some other small ornamental bananas, really tiny fruits. They don't even seem to be pollinated. What use are bananas which are not even edible? I mean, not edible at all. Most wild bananas are edible, but this stuff, I don't know. Who would eat this? There is nothing inside. It's not even slightly sweet. What about those bananas here? They don't look very edible either. Nice big flower, a reddish color, but the fruits... No, the fruits are small and tough, nothing edible inside. Another Zapodia tree. And fruits on the ground. I need sugar. This, yeah, it's ripe enough. A bit on the small side, but the big one here is too tough. What about this big one? Somebody has eaten half of it, and the other half is still too tough. What are those little round ones? Are they unpollinated ones? They are growing on the same branches as the big ones, so I guess probably those don't have a single seed inside. All the big ones have those beautiful shiny seeds. Cactus garden. Those totally have edible fruits. Just don't confuse the cacti with spurges and other succulents which might be toxic. The blueberry cactus. As the name suggests, it grows fruit which look and taste like blueberries. Here is a totally unripe one. Somewhere I saw a ripish one. Where did it go? Here it is. But is it ripish enough? Yeah, it's ripish enough. Tastes different from the blueberry cacti I'm familiar with. Also has more areoles. Just a different genotype or a completely different species, who knows. Here another plant, another blueberry cactus, but all the fruits are unripe or still in flower. The flowers also look different from the ones I know from the Canary Islands. Maybe this is a different but closely related species. Yeah, the fruits are bigger and have thorns. Oh, this must be another species. Why no label, folks? Why no label? Here another ripe fruit. Definitely looks different from the ones in the Canary Islands. Folks, if you know what this is, probably some close relative of the blueberry cactus. The taste is completely different and the fruit is tough, not soft. Yeah. Quite visible areoles, tough instead of soft fruit. Also the flowers are more prominent. Please tell me what this could be. Maybe I'm eating, what was it, San Pedro cactus here? Could be. Not exactly sure what San Pedro looks or tastes like. This opancha here doesn't have very good fruits. Here is a ripe one. I don't think there will be much good stuff inside. Funny, this ripe fruit is red. This one on the same plant is yellow. But I think the nopales, while still young, if you peel and roast them and eat them with some of the local sambals, they could become quite a popular dish around here. Mammillaria. Tiny cacti with tiny fruits. Tiny but tasty. This one, I guess some animal has walked over it already. Separated from the plant. Sour. Why are they cacti in a greenhouse? Well, because it's basically too rainy around here. They would rot if left out in the rain. When they're in the greenhouse, you can control how much water they get. This reminds me of my father's cactus collection. He had a lot of those small mammillarias, and I would pull out the fruits and eat them. Coconut trees. Around noon when I came here, even the little kiosk was closed, and I asked, what is white man supposed to drink when there is no water for sale? And they told me, well, climb a coconut tree and drink some coconut water. Let's see, they have been opening coconuts here. The tree is of course too tall for me to climb, but if you get lucky, there can be actually a fallen fruit which is still fresh enough. Nope, not lucky this time. Guavas and rose apples in the Japanese garden. I remember last time I ate some of those. However, the guavas don't seem to be ripe. I could eat them unripe, but I don't like unripe fruits. And about the rose apples, those are definitely not ripe. And no, I don't see any bigger and juicier fruits. Oh, the tiny ornamental pineapples. What was this? Ananas suides, I think. A tiny ornamental pineapple. Quite popular here in the area. Well, I'm breaking off one which is growing so close to the ground that the visitors are not even able to enjoy it. Yeah, it's a small pineapple, a different pineapple species. Really tough, but tastes just like the big one. And here is the seed. Ripe, not as sweet, not as juicy, but there is sweetness and flavor. Nice. Those are not the baby pineapples you find in the stores. Those are really considered a different species. Probably some wild ancestor. There seem to be quite a number of wild pineapple species in the tropical Americas. Look at those little beauties. How many there are here. So many teeny tiny pineapples. Here we have some other pineapple, some other ornamental pineapple. Look at the ornamental leaves and the little fruit. I doubt it will grow to a full-size commercial pineapple. However, here they are growing pretty much in the shade. See, this was a pineapple which rotted completely and now it's trying to take root but still failing. Yeah, nice, but nothing edible in this part. Here, those were all pineapples. Look at that. One pineapple. Let's put it in the ground. Two pineapples. Already producing roots. Let's see if the gardeners will let them live down there. Another nice papaya plant, but nothing ripe on it. Oh no! Look at that, there was a ripe papaya. And it fell to the ground. What are they gonna do with this papaya now? Are they gonna throw it away? Here usually they would value an unripe papaya much more than an overripe one. This thing is good, but the ants are biting me. Oh yeah.